I'm an art and fashion historian. Here's what to expect from the upcoming Met Gala exhibition, Superfine Tailoring Black Style. While this is not a cultural experience that I can personally speak to, I do have experience researching fashion and identity in the Black diaspora, and I just read the book by the exhibition's co-curator, so let's get into it. The theme of this exhibition is fascinating and extremely complex. It's curated by the Costume Institute's chief curator, Andrew Bolton, along with a guest curator, Monica L. Miller, who wrote this book, Slaves to Fashion, Black Dandyism and the Styling of Black Diasporic Identity. So the big question many are asking is, what is a black dandy? We have to go back to the 1700s when it was a fashionable practice for the aristocracy, slave owners, to have well-dressed black servants or luxury slaves as a novelty display of their own wealth and means. The rich uniforms or livery imposed on these young men were very elaborate and prompted a lot of confusion, as it made them a visual spectacle while existing as an owned object that's supposed to remain invisible. Their wardrobe both highlighted their fetishized otherness while communicating wealth and status that did not belong to them. The slavery was outlawed, these young men began to reclaim their identity through this wardrobe they had been forced into. Once slaves to fashion, they made fashion their slave. Drawing on the earlier presence of sophisticated men who placed extraordinary emphasis on their appearance, these were known as fops, the black dandy was born in conversation with broader European dandyism. This evolved over time into many proliferations, including the early 20th century zoot suit, 70s fashion that incorporated the flavors of the disco and funk music scenes, 90s hip-hop style, and so on. And it was and is a global movement. Here you see an example of the Congolese sapeur. There are incredibly rich textile traditions and a vibrant fashion culture across the African continent. As photographer Hassan Hajjaj documents in his dizzyingly colorful work, wonderfully disorienting in person, there's also an inherent queerness to this culture, and that's not to say that any black dandy is a homosexual, but that the otherness of black dandyism in the broader cultural landscape creates a more fluid identity. Miller says the dandy is a figure who exists in the space between masculine and feminine, homosexual and heterosexual, seeming and being. This has been explored in art for decades, including in Isaac Julian's black and white films, Kehinde Wiley's very important and luxuriously postured portraits, Ike Ude's sartorially subversive vignettes, and of course Yinka Shonibara's photography and iconic fabric sculptures, but the list goes on. I think we can expect work by most of these artists to be featured in the exhibition, along with people like Kara Walker, Jordan Castile, Malik Sidibe, along with depictions and artifacts from people all the way from W.B. Du Bois to Dapper Dan, and Andre Leon Talley to LeBron James, and everyone in between. And of course garments both historical and contemporary that illustrate the evolution of this sartorial culture, including a lot of BIPOC designed fashion. And while black male fashion in history will certainly not be the sole focus of this show, I think there will be more menswear than we've ever seen in a Met fashion exhibit. I'm just so excited to see how they approach this theme, but it's the Met, and with Miller involved, I'm sure it's going to be rich and nuanced and just expertly interpreted. I'll be visiting the show as soon as I can, and I'll be back with a review, but I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you think about this theme. Okay.